Okay, Rabotai, welcome back. We are going to begin a new class on Halachot of Niddah. We do have people with me over here learning, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. We're going to start speaking about the Halachot of Niddah, as you guys can see over here. Isur Niddah. Let me get this highlighted right there. Isur Niddah. Right there. Isur Niddah. Okay. So the forbidden of a woman being a Niddah. Niddah literally means when a woman is forbidden to her husband, right? If she has blood which comes out of her cervix, which is from the womb where the baby is formed, if she has blood coming out from there, it doesn't matter how much of the blood is going to come out, because if it's on a white garment, automatically she becomes impure. We're going to discuss these halachot at length, Bizrat Hashem B'Linad, as we go along. There are many halachot to halachot Niddah. I'm using a particular book which is called the Tahar Tabayit. Yes, if anybody wants to find it inside, you guys can go ahead and use this book, Tahar Tabayit. And also I'm putting it on the screen as you guys can see it. I believe this is written by Rav David Yosef Shlita, the Rishon LeZion. It's very clear, concise, and precise. So, B'ezrat Hashem, we're going to start a very small piece today. Rav David Yosef Shlita brings down in his Tahar Tabayit, and he says, Isha sheyatza dam mimukora. If you had a woman where blood came out from her source, which is basically the womb, right, where the baby is formed, ben bizman shirigla lerot dam veset, whether she's going to see blood where she's accustomed to seeing it during the time when her period is supposed to come, or ben bizman she'en rigla lerot dam veset, or whether she's going to see blood not in the time that she's anticipating the blood to come. Harehi teme'at tumu'at niddah. She is stomach and she has the status of a niddah. She is impure. Ve'asur leba'ala l'nega ba. It is forbidden for the husband to touch such a woman. Now the problem with this is a lot of people don't realize that it's not only when the woman sees blood you're not allowed to touch your wife. Even after she stops seeing blood, still you're not allowed to touch your wife. Until when? Until where does she go? Until she goes to the mikvah. Now, a lot of people have this very big misconception. They have menopause. Older women, they have menopause. So they feel after they have menopause, they no longer have to go to the mikvah, which is a very grave mistake. Because every single time that the husband goes back and he sleeps with her and she did not yet go to the mikvah, they are both transgressing the isur of karet. It's a very harsh punishment where chas v'sham lo aleinu, not only do the parents get punished, but also the children get punished because of that. So parents have to be very careful, couples have to be very careful. Something you should not play with is chas v'sham, a woman being a niddah. That being said, when you're dealing with a woman who has menopause, it could be 40 years that she has menopause, does not matter. She hasn't seen blood for another, doesn't matter. The fact that she did not do a hefsek tahara, we'll see what that is, and the fact that she did not go to the mikvah, she's considered to be in a state of niddah. But you're going to ask me, Rabbi, but 1 second. But she didn't see blood for all these years. Does not matter. Not seeing blood has nothing to do with her becoming a niddah or not becoming, meaning like this. By not seeing blood does not mean that she's removed from the state of niddah. You with me? Doesn't mean nothing. Once she sees blood, even if she doesn't see blood for the next 10 years, still she's considered to be a niddah. What removes the state of niddah is her going to the mikvah, doing a hefsek tahara, as we'll see, and her then counting 7 clean days, and then going to the mikvah. So that's what people need to realize, that this forbidden of touching your wife when she's in niddah is a humongous problem. A lot of men, unfortunately, touch not only their wives, and when they have chas v'sholom, forbidden parties and all these things, where they shake hands with other women, that is a very big no-no. That is asur me'ikar hadin, to go ahead and touch another woman, or even shake her hand, or even to look at her, or even to go ahead and feel her and kiss her. And however, lo aleinu rabotai, what we see today, all these things are problem. If your own wife, who's in need, you're not allowed to touch, how much more so any other woman you're not allowed to touch? This men have to understand. Today, Baruch Hashem, you go to any restaurant, they do yeshua, bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah, weddings, brit milah, all these parties. What do? Woman touches men, men touch women. It's crazy. It's crazy what's going on in the world. All these things that Rabotai is asur. Every time you do it, you are transgressing. You're going against HaKadosh Baruch Hu. For that, a person is going to have to give an accounting. there's no free lunch. You know what means no free lunch? You don't know what means no free lunch? Even if somebody gives you free lunch, it's not free lunch. You know why? Because he wants something in return. Same thing in this world. You think it's free, going ahead and touching this woman touching that man, and people doing affairs. In the end, there's going to be a reckoning that has to be given. And it's going to be a very bad reckoning. And in the end, sometimes it's too late if the people don't do teshuvah. So that's why you have to be very careful not to chas v'shalom ever touch any woman, especially your wife, when she is a niddah. Continues Rav David Yosef Shlita. If you guys can see it, I did highlight it in red. Umikol sheken sha'asur lo lavo, how much more so it is forbidden for the guy to sleep with her. That you're not allowed to. That is a very, very severe punishment where a husband goes in and he has relations with his wife, even if she's clean, meaning she saw her period, she counted, let's say 4 or 5 days, meaning her period stopped after 4 or 5 days, then she has 7 clean days that she's counting in order to be able to go to the mikvah. Even those 7 clean days, the husband is not allowed to chas v'shalom touch her, or God forbid, sleep with her. Rabotai, understand this. Sleeping with your wife, when she is a niddah, you're putting your children's lives at risk. Very simple. Chas v'shalom lolin, nobody should know. I don't even want to say it. They might not live out their full term. Why? Because you slept with your wife when she's a niddah. Now you might ask me a question, Rabbi, how come the punishment is on the children, not on the parents? It's on the parents and the children. It's going to be on both. But when chas v'shalom lolin, Rabotai, nobody should ever know of this. When chas v'shalom, a child goes through a difficult time, lolenu, the parents are more hurt. So you have to be very careful not to chas v'shalom ever touch your wife or even sleep with her when she's a niddah. Yes.
But can that be a baby's tikkun?
Baby's tikkun, no.
Why not?
Because the parents are stupid for doing such a tikkun for the baby.
What do you mean? People have to get clean anyways. So they
That's not, no.
Why?
Baby's tikkun. We don't know what people's tikkunim are. You can't go now and
I'm asking,
decide.
can that be one of them?
No, absolutely
Where
not.
baby
No,
passes away in
absolutely
the
not. Chas v'shalom. No. I'm not talking about the stam. I'm talking about when children are alive. When they're ready, they're alive, everything's good. Chas v'shalom, bad things can happen. Not inside the stam.
We learn in Gemara that the son or the daughter could change.
Correct. If they get to that life, correct. The Gemara says that if the children go the different path from the parents, then you're right. Then Hashem is not going to punish them identical. But until then, their life is hanging on a string. And a lot of times, Lolin, we see chas v'shalom, bad things happening. Now, so that's what Rav David Yosef Shuta says. Umikol shekin shasur lo lavo alecha. You have any questions? No. So far, okay, fine. Ashit tefsok b'tahara. Now, this is very important. Until she's going to go ahead and she's going to do what is called a hefsek tahara. Now, what is a hefsek tahara? This is very important to know. A hefsek tahara, a hefsek is like literally making pesak halacha, which means like they're cutting, and it's letting you know that she's tahor. Now, who's going to tell that this woman is tahor? She's the only one that can go ahead and say that she's tahor. How does she do it? Now, Rabotai, this might not be pleasant for me to say, but I have to say it because women do need to know how to actually do this. Now, okay, this is my glass thing, but women have a certain type of cloth almost similar to this. They have a white cloth. Let me just get this over here. They have a white cloth similar to this. They have to put it on their long finger, which is usually the middle finger. They have to make a stance almost like a horse stance. Like imagine a woman wanting to sit on top of a horse. Now when she opens her legs that wide, that allows the finger to be able to penetrate inside her cervix, and she's able to go ahead and check with her middle finger, or the longest finger, which is usually the middle finger, and she's able to check to see if any blood comes out of the cloth. If she sees when she takes it out, the cloth is white and clean and there's nothing on it, that's what we're going to tell. That's called a hefsek tahara. You understand this? This is what women have to go through. This is why we have to appreciate them. They go through really a lot, and they have to prepare themselves for the mikvah, which these halachot we'll see later on, okay? So this is what happens. Now, a lot of times you can have a woman can see a little bit pink or, something else on the cloth. That's not a problem. Always consult your local rabbi because they have to go ahead and determine if what she's seeing is blood or not. So that's what means Ashet Tefsek B'Tahar. So therefore, comes Rav David Yosef Shlut and he says that if a woman saw blood in her proper time of seeing, or not in her proper time of seeing, the husband is not allowed to touch her. And he's not allowed to sleep with her. It is asur me'ikar hadin. There's nothing more to talk about. There's no rabbi that's going to tell you, Rabbi, I'll argue with you, I'll disagree with you. No, there's no such thing. Everybody agrees across the board that this is forbidden. Until she's going to go ahead and do the hefsek tahara, which I just explained, with the piece of cloth. Once she does that hefsek tahara, after she finishes bleeding, we'll see when that has to also be done. It has to be done before sunset on the day that she stops bleeding. That we'll see not today. In the following class, as we learn these halachot. Now, after she already stopped seeing and she did the hefsek tahara, now she has to count 7 clean days. Now these 7 clean days have to be 7 clean days. That means to say, let's say if on the 6th day she saw blood, that means she retroactively breaks the count. Automatically she has to go again, do another hefsek tahara, and again begin 7 clean days. Yes? So that's why you have to know these laws very well. She has to count 7 clean days. Once she counts 7 clean days, on the night of the 7th, she has to go after the 7 complete days are over. Then Rav W. Yosef says, she has to go to a kosher mikvah. Once she goes to a kosher mikvah, a woman has to be very careful. These halachot we'll see later on, that when she dips, the balanit, the woman that's sitting in the mikvah, they'll tell her that she has to be very careful that her hair, right? Sometimes women go 3 times, one time it's fine, but first they want to get the hair very wet, so the hair stays down. Because even if one hair is outside, the whole mikvah is no good. That means you could be sleeping with a niddah. That we don't want. Shema, like the pasuk says in Vayikra Perek Tetvav pasuk Yutet, Shivat Yamim Tiyeh B'Nidata. The pasuk clearly says it's from the Torah that a woman has to count 7 clean days, and that's what we see from me. That 7 days she will be in a state of niddah, even though Rabotai, even though she has no blood. Okay, so she's going to be in the state of niddah until she's going to come into water, meaning until she's going to come into a body of water, which is the mikvah. Or you can also use the ocean, but there's also laws for that. Okay. Now, so that was the Hebrew part. I'm just going to go over it right now and review it in English, and with that, we're going to conclude. You have a question?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hefsek tahara is the cloth?
Hefsek tahara is the cloth, correct. So remember this word easy, hefsek tahara. You know when a rabbi makes a pasak halacha? How does the rabbi make a pasak halacha? He tells you, ask him, yes, no, he says no. So what did he do pasak? He literally just went and he cut for you the halacha and said it's like this. This or hefsek tahara is the same similar thing. Somebody has to go ahead and say she's tahor. Who's going to be the one? It's going to be the cloth that's going to say she's tahor. Okay, that's why it's called hefsek tahara. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the English right now, and with that, Bezrat Hashem, we're going to conclude. Alright, for those that just want to see it in English, let me just get it right over here. Here we go. Okay. If a woman sees blood coming from her womb, meaning inside her body, it doesn't matter if it's the normal time for a period or not the normal time, she becomes a niddah, meaning to a woman who is spiritually impure. When she is a niddah, her husband cannot touch her. This is a very big no-no. A lot of people don't understand. They think it's nothing big. It is a humongous problem. You're not allowed to touch your wife when she's in niddah. You're not allowed to touch any other woman for that fact. Any woman, no handshaking, no kissing, no touching her butt and her behind and everything else that they do today in these retarded parties that the people make. You understand? And then eventually they end up sleeping with each other. Only if you knew how many stories come to these rabbis, it's crazy. Okay, anyway. But at least they did shalom bayit, right? Whatever that means. Her husband cannot touch her. He definitely cannot have relations with her. Okay? Now, to become pure again, what does the woman have to do? She must make sure that there's no more blood. Some women will see it 3 days. Some women will see it 4 days. Some women will see it 5 days. Some women can see it 7 days. It all depends on the woman's body. Now we'll see there's other halachot that state that if a woman stops the same day, she's able to do hefsek tahara the same day, according to the Sephardim, not the Ashkenazim. We'll see this halachot later on. It's not the time for now. It's already 11:35 p.m. I know you guys want to go home, so let me just try to finish this. She must make sure that there's no blood. There's no more blood. Once there's no more blood, let's say after 4 or 5 days, she has to go ahead and do a hefsek tahara. What is a hefsek tahara? putting a cloth inside herself to make sure there is no blood. Once she does that, oh, that's it. Once she does that, okay, I should write over here. Okay, now something. Let me just get 1 second. Give me 1 second. Once she goes ahead and she does that, she doesn't have Tahara. Let me just add them right over here. Let me write. Oh, where did I go? 1 second. Okay, let me just do this. She must count 7 clean days. Right, she must count over here at the bottom. You guys see? She must count 7 clean days, and after 7 clean days, after 7 complete days, she's allowed to go ahead and go to the mikvah, and then she's going to be permissible to her husband. Okay, before we conclude, you guys have any questions?
No.
No. Okay, fine. Okay, Rabotai, have a great day. Baruch Adonai Olam. Amen. Amen.